Good morning, students. So, in our last class, we complete the topic rate of change of quantities, isn't it? So, after that, some more topics are there like tangent normal, increasing, decreasing, maximum, minimum. So, today we start the maximum, minimum part. So, in this maximum, minimum, so mainly here the topic is mentioned as maxima and minima. As you see here, already mentioned maxima and minima. So in this section, actually what we have to do, we will use the concept of derivative. So here already written, you see here, we will use the concept of derivative. So derivative, all of you know how to find out, to calculate the maximum or minimum values of various functions. So that means for each and every function, we can find out the maximum value as well as the minimum value. So with the help of derivative, here we have to find out the maximum and minimum values. So now here, in fact, we will find that means how can we find out the maximum and minimum? So we will find the turning points of the graph of a function. So turning points, the main point is here turning points. How can we find out the turning point here? So that means for this we have to consider two examples here. As you see here, two examples are here drawn. First of all, the first example is here. We consider a graph y equal to fx. First of all, we have to consider a graph y equal to fx, and now here, if suppose the graph, whatever we have drawn, the graph is like in this way. So already here mentioned, we will find the turning points. So turning point means if you see here in this graph where it turns. So from here when the graph start, it moving like in this way, and at this place, that means at which point x equal to c, that means it may be any value. C is a constant term, it may be positive value or negative value. At this point the graph turning, so the graph turn here in this case. So now in this way, if we get a graph similar here, another graph, if you see the graph moves like in this way, and at this place the graph turn. So this one is known as turning point. Is it clear? A2 ke koa hoy tomar turning point. So how can we find out the turning point here actually? So for that, what you have to do, when we draw a graph, ami jetia eta graph draw korim, graph to hotai ami left hand side or draw korim. Is it clear? Hotai ami graph eta left hand side or count korim. To left hand side or graph eta count jetia korim, graph to yat swa ki hoise, bari hoise. The graph is increasing here, and after that, after this point, the graph is decrease here. Is it clear? Graph to efale komi ahise, decrease. Similarly, in this case, if you see, if we consider a graph from the left hand side, the left hand side boli kole yar pora start hobo. For example, here, to yar pora first ki hoise, graph to soson, graph to prothome komi ahise, and after this point, a point to pisot graph to ako ki hoise, bahi goise. A is a turn to the loise yake koa hoy turning point, and with the help of this turning point, a turning point to ami pisole keneke oliai ami aru details kom pam, aru jodi tumalko aru details lage, you can go through the increasing and decreasing part. Jitu tumalko syllabus bortoman leke dia nai, kintu he increasing decreasing part to AOD already video dia hoise, tat sai lobo pariba keneke graph like increase hoy ba decrease hoy. So A is a graph to the increase but decrease hoise at particular point. He point to ke koa hoy turning point. So not only these two, another two graphs are here. Aru duta graph ase, jodi graph duta jodi swa here, like this two, if you see here, a graph duta swa here. So in this case, if we consider graph from the left hand side or pora jodi ami graph to jodi consider koro, graph to prothome ki hoise, decrease hoise. And after that, from here again it is decrease. Left hand side of the graph eta consider korim, a decrease hoisile at this place and again decrease. Enekwa condition ahibo pare. Similarly, in this case you see, yat swa tumalke graph to yar pora increase hoisile aru a point to pisot graph to ako increase hoise. বুজি পালেন? কিন্তু ইয়াত যদি আমি আগৰ দুটা গ্ৰাফত যদি আমি চাওঁ, ইয়াত গ্ৰাফটো ইনক্ৰিজ হৈছে, এই পইণ্টটোৰ পিছত গ্ৰাফটো ডিক্ৰিজ হৈছে। Similarly, here graph to decrease hoise, a point to pisot graph to ako increase hoise. So in this way we can find out the turning points. So a turning point gitar actually role ki hoy. Later on we have to know properly, more properly. I mean, all of pisot aru details of gom pam actually a turning point gitar role ki hoy. So yat just etu jani thwa turning point to jetia first increase tar pisot decrease hoy titiale a point to koa hoy maxima. Point to ki buli koa hoy maxima buli koa hoy. Aru he point to respected ami jitu value liam he value to koa hoy maximum value. Is it clear? First of all, point to ইয়াৰ লেফট হ্যান্ড সাইডৰ পৰা ইনক্ৰিজ হৈছে তাৰ পিছত ডিক্ৰিজ হৈছে যদি গ্ৰাফটো যদি আমি a to weight পাওঁ তেতিয়ালে ইয়াক কোৱা হ'ব ম্যাক্সিমা আৰু যদি ফাৰ্স্ট গ্ৰাফটো যদি ডিক্ৰিজ হয় তাৰ পিছত যদি ইনক্ৰিজ হয় তেতিয়ালে ইয়াক কোৱা হ'ব মিনিমা Is it clear? Minima. So in these two cases neither maxima nor minima কিয় কাৰণ ইয়াত decrease আকৌ decrease yet increase আকৌ increase. So for that reason here in these two cases neither maxima nor minima. In this case it is maxima, in this case it is minima. আমি এতিয়া বৰ্তমান ইমানখিনিয়ে জানি ৰাখিব লাগে বুজি পালা so this one is মই ইমানখিনি কথা কবলৈ যোৱাৰ main reason to হৈছে turning point. Here already written we will find the turning point. So turning point to ulior graphically in this way we can find out the turning point. Is it clear? So eneke ami turning point to uliabo paro. Okay, now after this turning point to ulior keneke ulia ami gom par bisot it actually in this topic under this topic maxima and minima a maxima and minima actually ami koribo ki lage so the maxima and minima we can find out in three different ways as you see here if you see this one in three different ways we can find out the maxima and minima so the first one is here absolute maximum and absolute minimum আমি ইয়াত maxima আৰু minima তিনটা waysত find out কৰিব পাৰো the first one is absolute maxima and absolute minima and the second one is local maxima and local minima and the third one is simply maximum and minimum এই তিনটা procedure তিনটা methodৰ through দি আমি maximum value আৰু minimum value find out কৰিব পাৰো So now here, after that written here, you see first derivative test. Actually, what is first derivative test? And under this written here 1 and 2. So that means the first two topic. First, the duta method asile absolute maxima and absolute minima, or local maximum and local minimum. A duta method, ami first derivative test or through it solve for. That means here we have to define set only one time. First derivative, all of you know. Here ami কেবাৰ ডিফাইন সেট কৰিব লাগিব মাত্ৰ এবাৰ ডিফাইন সেট কৰিব লাগিব এবাৰ ডিফাইন সেট কৰি পেলাই ইয়াৰ পৰা আমি ৰিজাল্ট খিনি ফাইন্ড আউট কৰিম তাৰ কিছুমান মেথড আছে প্ৰসিডিউৰ আছে আমি হেখিনি ডিসকাস কৰিম কিন্তু আমাক যদি কোনবা কোৱেশ্চন কৰে under first derivative test which two methods are included তেতিয়ালে আমি ক'ব লাগিব absolute maximum and absolute minimum local maximum and local minimum is it clear and after that the second derivative test or under ahibo maximum and minimum so here easily we can say here in third one maximum and minimum that means here we have to apply the second derivative test second derivative means after first derivative we have to define set the second time so all of you know this one how to find out the second derivative ami derivative chapter dot kori aisilu keneke define set koribo lage so with the help of second derivative test we can find out the third one maximum and minimum is it clear and now after that one note is written here you see every continuous function the function chapter to ami pohunte continuous function ki hoy ami gom paisilu continuous function or continuous curve means what here if there is no break point ami jetia eta curve draw korim curve tur majot jodi kono break point na thake বুজি পালানে for example আমি যদি ইয়াতে এটা example চাও suppose this one a curve to break point আছে নে নাই so that means it is known as continuous curve. Is it clear? And that's why here it is known as continuous function. So if we consider another example, suppose the curve is like in this way we draw. So now in this case you see the curve, first of all here we have to draw up to this, and then there is a breakpoint, and then another one we draw. So this one is not a continuous curve or continuous function. The continuous function hobole hole ki hobole ebo mazot kuno break point thakibo na laibo. So now here every continuous function on a close interval. So interval, all of you know the close interval, isn't it, has a maximum and a minimum value. So etu eta point hoy amar actually amar maximum value aru minimum value ami ketia pam jetia eta function tumak dia thaibo. Function tur logot jodi eta close interval dia thaibo. যদি রেঞ্জ ক্লোজ ইন্টারভেল মিন্স হোৱাট, এটা ৰেঞ্জ যেতিয়া দিয়া থাকিব তেতিয়ালে আমি তাত অবভিয়াসলি ম্যাক্সিমাম আৰু মিনিমাম ভ্যালু পাম। ইজ ইট ক্লিয়ার? হেতুৱে ইয়াৰ মিনিংটো হয়। সো টুডে হিয়াৰ উই ডিসকাস অ্যাবাউট দ্য different ways. So different ways, 3 ways are we get absolute maximum, absolute minimum, local maximum, local minimum, and maximum minimum. And the first 2 topics are under first derivative test, and the third one is under second derivative test. So in this topic, under this maximum and minimum, under this maxima and minima, we have to discuss mainly these 3 topics. Is it clear? Maxima and minima এই তিনটা মেথডৰ থ্ৰুৱেদি আমি সলভ কৰিম। In our next class we have to discuss the first one, first, second, if possible that we have to complete the second one also. আমি second to complete কৰিবলৈ চাম, কিন্তু next classত আমি first to start কৰিম। Is it clear? হল আজি তোমালোকে কি কৰিবা, গৈ পেলাই maxima and minima যেটো টপিক আছে টপিকৰ আন্ডাৰ যিখিনি তাৰ ডেসক্ৰিপচন দিয়া আছে সেইখিনি ভালকে ষ্টাডি কৰা, আৰু তাৰ ওপৰত বেছ কৰি পেলাই যেতিয়া তোমালোকে সেইখিনি ভালকে ক্লিয়াৰ হ'ব তেতিয়া আমি absolute maxima and absolute minima আমি ইজিলি কৰিব পাৰিম। very simple method here, the first one আমি easily we can solve. আমি বহুত simple method হয়, আমি next ক্লাছত এটো solve কৰিম। হ'ব? ঠিক আছে? okay, thank you.